You know, every business is kind of like a ship, and right now, the waters are choppier than they've ever been. So who's the captain steering through all this? Well, increasingly, it's the Human Resources Department. Today, we're going to explore the huge issues popping up in strategic HR and how the entire game of managing people is being completely revolutionized. Okay, let's dive in.
So let me ask you this, and think about your own workplace for a second. Is your HR team just managing people? Handling payroll, making sure the paperwork's in order? Or is it a strategic weapon, actively building a real competitive edge for the company? That difference right there is everything. It's the gap between old-school personnel admin and true modern strategic HR. All right, to make sure we're on the same page, let's look at the official definition. Strategic Human Resource Management, or SHRM, isn't just about doing a bunch of HR tasks. The key word here is pattern. It's about how all the pieces fit together. Think of it like this. Every single thing HR does, from hiring to training to compensation, has to directly help the company win. And all those activities have to work in harmony, not in their own little silos. Now, of course, strategic HR doesn't happen in a vacuum. It's being constantly pushed and pulled by these massive outside forces. And if you really want to get a handle on today's HR challenges, you first have to understand this shifting landscape. First, you've got powerful economic forces. These dictate pretty much everything, from how much you can pay people to whether the talent you need is even out there. Then you have the political and legal side of things, basically the rule book that governments create for labor laws and employee rights, and HR has to navigate that maze perfectly. And then, of course, there's technology. Honestly, the incredible speed of tech change is probably the single biggest disruptor out there, constantly rewriting what a job even is. And finally, demographics. The actual workforce is changing. It's more diverse, it's got multiple generations working side by side, and frankly, people have a whole new set of expectations about what they want from a job. So these big forces create very specific, very real pressures for HR leaders every single day. We're seeing huge skills gaps, with companies fighting over a small pool of talent. Inflation is turning every salary talk into a nail-biter. Globalization means you're managing people across different cultures and time zones. And the rise of the knowledge worker has totally flipped the script on the whole employer-employee power dynamic. And here's the real kicker. The world is changing at lightning speed, but our academic understanding of strategic HR, well, it's been struggling to keep pace. This has created a huge gap between the theories being studied in universities and the real-world problems that leaders are trying to solve, like yesterday. This quote from some of the top researchers in the field just hits the nail on the head. While businesses are out here wrestling with AI, the gig economy, remote work, a lot of the formal research is still stuck arguing about models that were built for the predictable factory floor world of the last century. You can see that the progress has been, well, slow. In the 80s, we got big ideas. The 90s, we started using data to test them. And in the 2000s, we started critiquing those tests. It was all very logical, very academic, but it was also incremental, happening at a snail's pace while the business world outside was being completely turned upside down. Okay, so let's jump into the here and now. How have all these disruptions created a new reality on the ground? What are the actual, tangible, game-changing trends that HR leaders are facing today? First off, hybrid work. It's not a fad, it is here to stay. Projections show that 81% of organizations will be using this model. And think about that. It's not just about where you work. It forces a total rethink of company culture, collaboration, and what it means to be fair to everyone. Next up, generative AI. And listen, this is so much more than just a fancy new software tool. It is a genuine transformation engine for HR. We are talking about AI writing perfect job ads, acting as a 24/7 help desk for employees, and finding insights in your people data that you never could have seen before. It is a massive, massive leap. Now, just look at these numbers. The global market for diversity, equity, and inclusion is on track to more than double in just 6 years. This isn't just a budget item anymore. It represents a huge strategic shift. Companies get it now. DEI is absolutely essential for attracting the best people, for driving innovation, and for actually connecting with your customers. And there are other huge trends reshaping HR too. There's a massive push for people analytics so we can finally make smart, data-backed decisions about talent. The old command and control style of leadership is out, and human leadership, empathy, authenticity is in. Employee well-being has become a critical business issue, and the ability to just manage constant change is now a core skill for any successful organization. So here's where it all comes together. All of these powerful trends, they don't lead to simple, easy answers. Nope. Instead, they create these strategic tensions, these paradoxes that you can't solve by just picking one side. The new name of the game is mastering the both and. Success now means learning how to navigate these contradictions like a pro. Okay, here's the first classic tension. For years, the goal was fit. You'd build this perfect HR machine designed for a very clear, stable business strategy. But in today's world, that perfect machine can become obsolete overnight. So now you also need flexibility, the agility to pivot and react to a future you can't even predict. So the big question is, how do you build for maximum performance today and for total resilience tomorrow?
Next up, commitment versus control. Look, every leader wants a high commitment culture, a place where employees feel trusted, empowered, totally engaged. But every big company also needs control. You need standard procedures, you need to be compliant with the law, you need to manage risk. Lean too far towards commitment, you get chaos. Lean too far towards control, you get a soul-crushing bureaucracy. The best companies live in that delicate balance right in the middle. And finally, differentiation versus integration. In this crazy war for talent, it seems to make sense to differentiate, right? Give your star players special treatment, more pay, cooler projects to keep them happy. But how do you do that without destroying integration, that feeling of a unified, fair culture where everyone feels valued? Rewarding their A players is critical, but so is keeping the whole team together. It is a serious, strategic tightrope walk. So with all these complex paradoxes swirling around, how do we actually move forward? How do we build an HR strategy that doesn't just survive in this new world, but actually thrives in it? It all starts with a pretty fundamental shift in how we think. This right here, this is the single most important idea to take away from all this. The future of strategic HR isn't about choosing a side. It's not fit or flexibility. It's not commitment or control. It is about completely rejecting the false choice. It's embracing the both and mindset. It's about designing systems that are efficient and adaptable, that build trust and ensure compliance, that celebrate superstars and create one unified team. And once you adopt that both and mindset, the path forward gets a lot clearer. Step one is just to admit that these tensions are real and they aren't going away. Then you can start intentionally building your HR systems to manage them. You build processes that have both flexibility and fit baked in. You combine your commitment building practices with your control systems, and you find clever ways to integrate your programs for top talent into a culture that still feels fair and holistic for everyone. So we'll end with one last question for you to think about. Take a really honest look at your own organization's people strategy. Is it built for the stable, predictable world of yesterday? Or is it truly engineered to adapt, to evolve, and to win in the uncertain, fast-moving future of work? Because really, the answer to that question will determine who leads the pack and who gets left in the dust.